Stay tuned for urban legends to ghostly tales of the paranormal, because now it's time for
Message on the Wall.
Message on the Wall brings you the Unsilent Krypt. Two brothers, Amos and Jacob Adams, lived in a small village in New England. Now all was well with them until Amos found himself a wife. The problem was, Jacob didn't get on at all well with his sister-in-law. Finally, things became so intolerable that Jacob moved out, and not only that, he moved to a different area, just to be away from the evil that he sensed whenever in her presence. Jacob never married, while Amos settled down to family life, the couple producing a daughter. It wasn't until a few years later that Amos lost both his wife and daughter, and it was then that Jacob returned to the family home. However, Jacob had not been back 2 years when he fell ill. Knowing it was serious, and that he wasn't going to recover, he asked Amos that when he died he would not place him in a grave anywhere near his evil sister-in-law. To appease his brother, Amos agreed, and shortly after Jacob died. Having second thoughts on his promise, as after all Jacob was ill and had to be delirious to make such a request, and so Amos made arrangements for Jacob to be placed in the family crypt alongside his wife and daughter. The very same night as the funeral service, those passing the churchyard heard screams, howls of rage and banging sounds. The next night, and for several nights after, the sound of thuds and curses emanated from the Adams crypt. With it being a small village, the news soon spread that each night a crowd would gather. It finally reached Amos, who out of curiosity went to find out what it was all about. And as before, the noises cut through the silence of the quiet graveyard. The next day Amos had the vault opened to find it in disarray, with his daughter's coffin placed on top of her mother's, and Jacob was not only upright, but also upside down. Amos was shocked by the scene, but had the battered and chipped caskets put back in their original places, and the vault was once again sealed. But yet again, that very same night, as people gathered, the crypt emanated with the same howls, thumps and bangs, as the occupants, though dead, were certainly not resting in peace. This continued every night for a week, disturbing the villagers, as they were not getting any peace either. Amos once again had the crypt unsealed to find it the same as before, the 3 caskets chipped and scraped as though they had been rammed against one another. Once again the coffins were put back in place, only this time Amos had a wall built between Jacob's casket and those of his wife and daughter. This appeared to solve the problem, as once again the New England village found peace, as did the occupants of the Adams crypt. You have been listening to Message on the Wall, brought to you in association with Paranormal Parodies. You can find Paranormal Parodies at paranormal-parodies.com.